Uh-oh. Welcome back to the final segment of Investing with Confidence this week. As always, I am your host, Joshua David, an online trading academy, the sponsor of Investing with Confidence, on their 25th year, a world leader in investing education. And Al, as you just were talking about in the last segment about how people can maximize their potential, whether they're in the working years or retirement years, we have people that are looking for income potential daily, weekly, or monthly, but having the right account set up, having the right platform, and you were talking about our platform Click that our investors can use, and how to make investing decisions with confidence, having protection on both ends, an entry, a stop, and a target. If you happen to miss 2 tickets for the investing class right here in Bloomington, call 952-814-4410 or text the word INVEST to the number 484848. When you pick a date for the class, we do these on Wednesdays and Saturdays, you're going to receive a free cryptocurrency foundations course. This is a huge phenomenon. It covers the history of cryptocurrency, transacting with crypto, but also 5 steps to using cryptocurrency. And Al, as you want to get into this final segment, you want to talk a lot about 401ks. We have a lot of listeners that have 401ks with their current employer. They also have 401ks with an old employer. I was actually talking with one of my good friends the other week. They're talking about, hey, I have an old 401k from an employer that I had in the past, and it's just sitting there, and I don't even know what's happening with it. There's, potentially tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in a lot of these accounts that people have, and they're just letting them sit there, right? Now he's like, well, can I use that? Is there something I can do with it? Can I self-direct it? Let's talk about some of those different opportunities with 401ks that you have with an old employer.
Okay, well, let me talk a little bit about why it's not a good idea to leave your money in an old 401k. Number one, if you look at your portfolio value, you look at what the bottom line is in that statement, a big part of it is contributions that you have made and contributions that your employer has made. That's no longer the case when you retire. So that part of it is not there. And then also there's still fees. The plan sponsor is taking fees out on a regular basis in an account that you probably have forgotten about. Like Josh said, a lot of people don't know what's happening in those old 401ks. They have no idea what's in there. But I can tell you what is in there for sure are fees that are being taken out. And those fees, it might be anywhere from 2 to 4%. And when you retire, even in your existing 401k, if you have one, when you retire, maybe you're kind of following that 4% rule. A lot of advisors out there will say, if you just take 4% out, that should be fine. That should get you through your retirement years. Well, think about this. When you're taking 4% out, for your bills, for your living expenses, so is the plan sponsor. They're taking 2 to 4% out too. Think of how quickly that can deplete those assets that you have. And then no protection. When we go through a bear market, that could be a 50%, 20% to 50 or 60% drawdown. If you don't have protection, you're looking at an account that can maybe give you 3-4% a year in returns with the risk or the exposure to 50 to 60% downside. That's not a good risk reward.
Think about that too, because a lot of people think that their 401k sponsor is helping them with their decisions. So they're paying them a fee and they're helping them reach those golden years. Think about it this way. Okay, now you're gone from the employer. They're no longer helping you, but you're still paying the fee. That doesn't make any sense.
They never helped you in the first place.
Exactly. So think about it this way as well. If you have an app that you purchase on your phone and you never use it again, but your credit card is still paying for that app every month or every 6 months, let's just say every month, that's money coming out of your credit card. That's what's happening when you have an old 401k. There's money being taken out of it every single month in fees, and you're not even getting any sort of advice or any investment advice there at all. So if you want to learn about self-directing, how to take old 401ks and actually make your decisions there properly, making smart investment decisions and eliminating, at least lowering those fees and not having a hand in your cookie jar, you got to learn how to do that. Al talks about that in investing classes right here in Bloomington. How do you maximize your potential with old 401ks or even new 401ks? So call 952-814-4410 or text the word invest to the number 484848. In these classes, Al goes into how to time the market by letting price come to you, how to our step-by-step rules-based strategy for trading any asset in any market, but also I think the most important piece is how to buy and sell just like the financial institutions do, which is to buy at wholesale and sell at retail. Now, Al, we've been talking about for several months now, markets are at all-time highs. A lot of our listeners have never experienced a down market, so we don't want to kind of, sound silly about talking about, the world is ending these past 3 weeks. We had the market's actually down for the past 3 weeks. Now, so people haven't experienced a down market, so they feel it's going to go up forever, right? So think about it this way. If somebody has a savings account, you don't really see that money, so it's either going up or it's going down. If you're contributing to your savings account, it's hopefully going up, but people are taking from it as well. But it's in an account they really don't pay attention to. And a lot of people don't pay attention to their 401ks, their IRAs, especially if they're being managed by somebody else. How do you protect your accounts? We have a lot of listeners that are fearful of a market crash. Could it happen? Yes, it could happen. Will it happen? Yes, it will happen. When will it happen is what we don't know yet. But I talked about at the beginning of the show, we've seen some selling pressure come in.
Right.
We broke a low, basically a pivot point, a low, which is basically potentially starting a downtrend. And we have another potential area of sellers that the market is coming back to, especially Wednesday and Thursday. How can people protect what they have? That's their life savings. How do people protect it with confidence?
Well, you started out by talking about a lot of people that are in the market now have never gone through a bear market, and that is true. And I would also say that there are a lot of advisors out there that probably got into the business before or after the last bear market. So a lot of advisors have never gone through it either.
I'm going to paint a picture on that. If you have an advisor that has never gone through a down market to protect your accounts, think of it this way. If you're 50 years old and you have a 16-year-old life coach, think about that for a second.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Well, especially when if you have a lot of money, if you've worked really hard and you have a lot of money in a retirement account, you don't want to be looking at that and dealing with that with a set of knowledge or a set of skills that really is more attuned to a $1,000 account. So you got $1 million account, there's maybe some different things that you want to do there. That you certainly should be paying more attention to it, and protection should be a big component of it. And if you saw what happened in this in September, which is, by the way, September, October are typically very challenging months for the markets. But if you saw your accounts go down 5% and that bothered you, think what would happen if your accounts went down 20% or 50% or 60%. People that were in the market back in 2008, a lot of people saw that happen. Trillions of dollars basically left those accounts. And as far as those people were concerned, it just was wiped out. That money just disappeared. It didn't really disappear. It just ended up in someone else's account. But you haven't really experienced what could possibly be coming down the road. Bear markets are a normal part of the financial markets. Corrections, typically we have a couple of 10% or greater corrections every year. That's kind of on average. But then every 3 or 4 years, we'll have a bear market, which is a drawdown of 20% or more. And that's where the pros really know how to take advantage of the knowledge that they have. The pros, the smart money out there, they are not going to let a bear market take money away from them. What they're going to do is actually use a bear market to increase their returns. In your 401ks, you can only participate in an upward market, basically in a bull market. If we go through a bear market, in those 401ks, you have no protection. Self-directing, setting up a self-directed IRA where you have control over your assets allows you to have protection, and it allows you to participate beneficially or potentially beneficially in a down market and a sideways market without fees. You eliminate that sucking sound of the 2 to 4 to 5% of the fees being taken out of your retirement accounts. You're controlling your assets. The same thing that you're actually doing in your 401ks is just now you're not paying somebody to let you manage your own assets.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And Al, as I talked about earlier, we have most people that are listening that have never experienced a down market. If you've never experienced that, talk to somebody who has. Talk to somebody who had accounts in 2008 or 2000. How devastating that can be. But here's the great thing: is we're not talking to scare you. This should be inspiring to take action, take advantage of a huge opportunity. If you're 20, 30, 40, 50, or even 60, this is probably the biggest opportunity we'll ever see in our lifetime, no matter which way the market goes, because we know we have opportunities for income potential in up markets. We have opportunities for income potential in down markets. It's called shorting. Al talks about that in these investing classes, but also sideways market opportunities. So one last set of tickets to get started. I want to encourage you to get started and invite you to this investing class to take more action in your income accounts, 401ks, and IRAs. Call 952-814-4410 or text the word INVEST to the number 484848 for 2 tickets for an investing class right here in Bloomington. They're only 2 hours. We're next to the Mall of America. Al, let's hear the OTA tip of the week.
Well, a big part of what our students like about OTA is the community aspect, being able to be around other students. And I actually took this from Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker. He said, change your life by consciously choosing who you surround yourself with. Build your inner circle with people who lift you up, lend you knowledge, and help you learn from your mistakes. The truth is, if you want to grow, you've got to be around people who challenge you to raise your standards.
Yep. Don't be afraid of change. Change is good. That's how you grow. How you grow is doing things differently, maybe sometimes differently than you've been taught. Sometimes doing that is difficult to start, but you got to start somewhere where you start with better investing decisions and smarter investing decisions. Right here in Bloomington is an investing class. Call 952-814-4410 or text the word INVEST to the number 484848. As always, same time, same place next week. Until then, retire young, my friends.